Hi guys, welcome to the flight today. As we're down in Madrid with the 747-200 with Iberia Airlines, lovely airline in the retro style for the 747. So we're going to be departing out of Madrid using the INS system. We're following out manually as we track inbound onto the Papa Delta Tango VOR onto the 152, where we then track outbound from that VOR onto the 051. As we get to about 11.7 DME, we're going to make a left turn onto the 348, which is going to take us to the Robadillo VOR, which is going to be the first waypoint on for the SIVA. And then we'll activate the INS and we'll start to engage the autopilot. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Leave your comments down below of any future flights you'd like to see with the 747 or any real world routes. And now we can get inside and get the aircraft all prepared with the checklist and pre-start procedure. So, I'll see you in the cockpit. We are now in the 747-200, so what we're going to do is we're going to do our cockpit safety check. So we'll go overhead with our alternate flap selection, which is off, standby power switch, which is off, and we've got the engine ignition switch, which is off, along with our window wipers, which is off as well. So we'll go over to the tablet now, and we'll go in and we'll get the ground. We can connect the GPU, which will be set for us. Once we hear that outside, as we can, and we can set the chocks as well. So now we'll go and set the aircraft all up and ready. So let's go ahead and get the battery on. We can check the APU voltage and the battery voltage. We can switch relays switches for the GPU, which is checked. External light 1 and 2 is illuminated, and now the closed relay 1 and 2 gen is confirmed with the split breaker system, which is open and checked. Light is illuminated. So after that we can go to our standby power, which can go on as well. We're going to get the APU all started, so we'll do the squib test, we'll do the fire test, which is checked. Oil quantity is 2.5 quarts, which is also checked and confirmed. APU bleed switch is off and the master APU can go on, and we'll start that up in just a few seconds. Zone 1 recirc on for cockpit until packs are operating. So we'll get the 1 on for when the APU starts, and now we can start the APU. We can see the EGT now starting to increase, and we've got the RPM raising as well. So that's pretty much all good for us on that front. We've got the INS, which we can go and get programmed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of our panel lights ready for when we switch over. So we'll light up this lovely cockpit, get all the panels lit. As we roll out on the departure today, we're going to be coming out on head and select. I'm not going to use VOR lock, because when we track inbound to the VOR, we're going to then be going outbound from the same VOR. So VOR lock will hold the same heading that we were currently on, which will be the 152 to intercept. So if we was going to a next VOR, it will hold that VOR track until we enter in the new frequency and then change the course, and then it will turn. But we need to go to 11.7 DME from the Papa Delta Tango, and then we're going to make a left turn onto the 348. So we'll get the autopilot on, etc., but we'll put use head and select to just navigate us around, and then this will be our first waypoint coming out of Madrid for the SIVA. So I'm going to go overhead now. We're going to align the IRS, get that all positioned in. We can get our radio panels, which are on and checked, max speed warning check, over rotation, and we've got our stall warning as well, which is also confirmed. We can get the window heats on, which we just check with the light that they are on. They'll start to go out just to make sure that they are working. So we'll give them a few seconds. That'll start to extinguish. So that's all fine and checked. From there we've got the compasses, which are both in slave mode. We have got the anti-skid, which can go on, and we can arm the body gear steering. We've got the nav and logo lights, which are also on and checked. We can test the flight recorder, or the voice recorder should I say, which is all set. The radio buses are on and checked. Window heat is off, and what we can do now is we'll go into the INS and get the aircraft all configured with our routing. So we're going to go in and get the positioning. We're going to put remote on for all 3 INSs. Go and get our positioning, which is going to be north 40275. So 40275. And we've also got west 3345. We're going for the first waypoint, which is going to be the Robadillo VOR, which is going to be north 40512. And we've got west 3148. Next up for waypoint number 2, Domingo VOR, which is north 42272. And we're going to be going west at 2528. Waypoint number 3 for San Sebastian VOR, which is north 43187. And we've got west 1498. Waypoint number 4 for Bordeaux is going to be north 44496. And we're going to west 433. Waypoint number 5 is going to take us to Poitiers for VOR, which is north 46349. And we've got east 179. Waypoint number 6 is going to be for Kepa, which is going to be the start of the arrival, which is north at 47484. And we've got east 164. Waypoint 7 is for our top of descent, which is north at 48013. And we've got east at 299. Waypoint number 8 is going to be Rongo, which is north at 48208. And we've got east 506. Okay, so what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to quickly just switch over the APU so the INS isn't running over on the batteries, put the APU bleed on as well, and you can see the isolation valves coming to life. Waypoint number 9 is going to be the Foxtrot 501, which is going to leave us in on north of 48247. And then we're going to be having east 1020. Now there is a few more waypoints that we are going to put in, but we'll put them in once we clear up some of the first couple of waypoints, which we'll do near to the start of the arrival. After that we're going to have Nurki, and from Nurki we're going to be going to Banox, which will then lead us in for the straight arrival down. I'll get the arrival charts in once we take off on that, and I'll show you when we get to the top of descent. But it's all going to be very nice and easy for us today. So we'll go over to the air conditioning over on the flight engineers panel. We'll get all of his lovely lights on as well, so you guys can see all of the lovely lights that are going on board inside the cockpit. So master trim air switch, which can go on and checked. Temps are all okay, so we'll leave them all alright. Packs can all go to auto. We get one for the packs, which will go to checked. APU bleed is open. We'll do the isolation test now, so we turn off the isolation valve for number 1. We'll see the PSI start to drop. We'll do it for number 3. We'll see the PSI start to drop again, and we'll put both back on, which are both back on and confirmed. So the isolation valve test is checked. Zone 1 recirc is on. We can turn that off as we don't need it, because we've got the pack, but we'll leave number 1 on as well. The INS is programmed. We can go overhead now. We're just waiting for number 3 to come in, which should come up at any moment, as we have got it in 40275 3345. So that one should come on in just a few moments, and then we'll put them to nav. From there, flight director is off. INS is programmed. Throttle test check, which is checked. Galley power can now go on. Check the APU on the battery, which is fine. Flight level, which is going to be set for us today. We are going to be departing out for we're going for around 300, so we can put in 300. I'm not going to put an initial, we'll just climb direct straight out. Okay, which is also set and checked. Clear off the warning lights, which is set and confirmed, and we're just waiting for the last SIVA to be done, and then we'll be all on our way. So flight level set, outflow valve check. So we'll go to manual, we'll close the first one, and we'll close the right one. Go to manual left, right one closes, opens, and then we go to manual right, And then we go back to auto, so that is all checked and set for us, and everything is alright there. We'll do the rate limit test as well, which is checked. Isolation valve switches are both on. Engine bleed switches open them. Lights valves closed, extinguished, which are checked. Equipment call-in guard is closed, and blower selector switch is normal, which is checked. So we'll do our wingly overlay flap test. No airflow light is out, and we can see smoke as well, which is done. Do the squib test, which is checked, and we go and test over on the brake temp monitor as well. Hydraulic test, which is all within the green band, which we'll get onto the hydraulics in just a few moments. No air light is extinguished. We'll put on pump number 4, which will be checked. Low pressure light extinguished. Normal brake source select switch guard closed, which it is. And we've got sex system 1 light extinguished, which it also is as well. Jettison panel is all closed, and we've got our now before start checklist. So just going to do some of the tests over on the panels. See our lovely placard board for our autopilot. Altitude alert test.
Pull up. Glide slope. Glide slope. Pull up.
Okay, so that's our GPWRS rudder ratio test. We'll do our test for the radio altimeter. And we've got the instrument warning test as well, which is all set and checked for us. So we are going to be leaving out on 1-4 right, which is pretty much if we just get up the airport, we can see as we leave out onto 1-4 right, we are going to come out and be coming out on the 143. Okay, so there's 143, which is set. We're going to be intercepting onto the 152. Okay, which is also set and checked. Going in and get our speeds for the takeoff performance. We'll take that from the load sheet and we can press that in. So rotate is 166. We're going to go for flaps 20, which will be rotate at 159. V2's 168, and we're going to plus 10 that. So we've got 178. 5.4 on the trim as well, which will work once we get all the hydraulics and everything on. So we'll set that after. And initial pitch is going to be runway. We're going to be leaving from the Barajaz VOR. We're going to be tracking inbound to the Papa Delta Tango, which is the Perales VOR, 6,200 feet and a 3.5 DME from the VOR. We're going to make that left-hand turn, which is going to take us onto the 051, where we're going to then follow it outbound from the VOR to 11.7 DME, where we'll then track inbound to the Robadillo VOR, 13,000 feet above at 17.8 DME, tracking inbound to the Robadillo VOR. So we've got the 11395, and for the Papa Delta Tango we've got the 11695. Okay, so the 11695, which is in 11695, which is also in DME, should come to life after a departure. So that is pretty much it, as we've got the 152s which we're going to intercept from. Then we're going to inbound to the Papa Delta Tango, which will be all set and nice for us today as we get ready to leave out. So we're just going to get the METARs now for lovely Madrid. So QNH is 1022, which is set, and 1022, which is also set and checked. And back to the checklist, got the MCP for the runway heading, which is 143, which is set. MCP speed, which is 168 plus 10, so V2 plus 10, which is 178. Navigation mode, we are in heading at the moment, which is also set and checked. Altitude select mode is armed, which is also confirmed. Nabs and VOR set for the 11695 for the Papa Delta Tango. Seatbelt signs, no smoking, which can go on now. We can lock the flight deck door. Radio INS switch is to radio, which is checked. EPR thrust comp, so we're going to be going on takeoff dry. We've got the EPR mode, which is armed. Thrust knob is takeoff dry, and fuel boost pumps can now all go on. So I've taken quite a lot of fuel with us today as well, so I'm going to go nice and heavy because that is how the 747 does things. So everything's all good there. I'm going to keep the pumps off for the Jetsons. There isn't nothing in there really. 1 and 4 cross feed valves are on, and 2 and 3 cross valves are off, which is confirmed. Bleed valves are all on, lights out, 38 to 40 psi. So there we go, 38 psi, which is in normal range. Pack 1 and 3 are closed. Pack 2 is open. Electric hydraulic 4 is on, and galley power can now go off. Okay, which is set. So before start checklist complete. So now what we're going to do, guys, is we are going to get ready and get the aircraft ready for our start. We can start straight off from the block, as we don't need
disconnect ground power.
Any better
Cockpit
pushback.
to ground, remove the chocks.
As on the last flight there was problems with the better pushback, so I'm not going to bother with the better pushback today.
Ground power disconnected. Chocks removed.
Okay, ground power is disconnected and checked. So before start checklist, got a beacon light which is on and checked. Start valve can be open.
Ready to start the engines.
And just before we do,
Ready for engine start.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the checklist so you guys can see it all in action. So before start, for the flight engineer, and let's do it.
Battery on. APU panel. Check.
Checked.
Auxiliary power.
Checked.
Check. Engine oil quantity.
Checked.
Check. Fuel quantity.
Checked.
109,892 kilograms. Fuel panel.
Checked.
Check and set. Pressurization controls. Check and set. Bleed controls.
Checked.
Let's see.
On for the bleeds. I think we
Check
need them all.
and set.
There we go.
Hydraulic quantity. Check. EPR computer.
Go around.
Let's see. Go around.
We're going to put it back to takeoff dry anyway.
Circuit breakers.
Checked.
Check. Indicator lights. Check.
Check.
Electrical panel. Check and set. Air conditioning controls. Check and set. Fire control and wing overheat panels. Check and set. Equipment cooling. Check. Passenger oxygen. Check. Public panel. This.
Hydraulic panel, which can be
Check
turned off
and
now.
set. Fuel jettison panel.
Which
check.
is checked.
Crew oxygen.
Which is also
On.
checked.
Oxygen mask and regulator. Check and emergency off. ADPs off. Checklist completed.
Okay, so before start checklist is completed, so next up will be our after start checklist. So as everything is all clear, and I just want to make sure that all of the ground power is gone. We can arm the emergency lights, which are also on and checked, and we are now ready clear. So start valve
Ready
is
to start
open.
the engines.
Beacon is on and checked.
Ready for engine start.
And we'll go for engine number 1.
Starting engine 1.
Starter valve open.
So we're going to see N1 now for N2 come to life. All pressure will come to life as well in just a few moments time. 20% N2, we're going to hear the flight engineer call out, and then we're going to inject fuel for engine number 1. Okay, there's 20% coming in.
20% and 2.
So next up we'll go
Fuel
for
on.
engine number
Starting
2.
engine 2.
Starter valve open.
Checked. N2 is now increasing for engine number 2. As it comes up to 20%, we'll then inject fuel, and then we'll start to see EGT etc. increase and get ready to rock and roll. We'll switch over the buses, and then we'll be all set for our departure. So there's 20% coming in now. Flight engineer's going to
20%
call out.
and 2.
Is now
Starting
on,
engine
so we
3.
go for number engine 3.
Starter valve open.
And we'll bang
Starting
number
engine
4 just for
4.
the fun of it.
Starter valve open.
So here they both come now. It's gone over 12% on N2 for number 3. Number 4 is now just coming into view as well, so we'll pump them both in at the same time. You guys can get a double start.
20% and 2.
20% and 2. We'll wait for number 4 to come in and then we'll fire them both.
20% and 2.
After start checklist, so we can check all of the gens which are on. Relay switches can be closed now, which are all checked. Gen open lights are extinguished. Split system breaker is off, which is checked. APU bleed air can go off, which is confirmed. APU off is off after 2 minutes, but we'll turn it off now, which will be set and confirmed. ESS AC bus, which is all controlled and normal. Galley power all on, which can be set now, which is all set and confirmed. We can get the Gasper on as well. Packs 1, 2 and 3, which can go on temporarily, and we'll turn them off for takeoff. So we can check now pack 1, pack 2 for the ASSM, and we've got the pack number 3, which is all on and confirmed. Hydraulics, all 4 can now go on, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've got the hydraulic overheat pressure, oil light, low extinguishers, which it has, and oil pressure and quantity in the green band. So there we go, oil pressure and quantity are both in green bands, which is set and checked for us. So we can go now to our after start checklist.
After start checklist.
Flight recorder.
On.
On.
Start switches.
Off.
Off.
Beacon lights.
On.
On.
Brake pressure.
Check.
Check.
Start levers.
Idle detent.
Engine and the ice.
Off.
Off.
Electrical panel.
Checked.
Check. Pack valves.
Open.
Open. Dual warning lights.
Closed.
Out. Hydraulic panel. Check.
Okay, and set.
Flight recorder.
Which
On.
is on.
After start checklist completed.
Okay, so after start checklist is completed now. So we can go in and get our flaps 20, which is checked.
Flaps 20.
Takeoff data, EPR and airspeed bugs are all set. 168 we're coming out, and 178 for V2 plus 10. 152 we're into set for the Papa Delta Tango on the 11695, and we're going to be leaving out on the 143 heading for runway 14 right. Pro peaks are on and checked, so we can start the taxi
checklist, please.
Flaps.
Checked.
Flaps 10.
Flaps 10.
Takeoff data, EPR and airspeed bugs.
Okay, that is all set and checked for us.
Stabilizer trim.
5.4.
Hold on.
Now got hydraulics and everything
Set
on.
in green band.
Probe heat.
On.
On.
Flight controls.
Are checked.
Hold on.
Yaw dampers.
Checked.
Check.
Seatbelt and shoulder harness.
Checked.
Check.
APU.
Off.
Off. Fuel heat.
On.
Off. Totalizer and gross weight. Set. Flight engineer and pilot panel. Check. Aft cargo heat.
After cargo.
Weight. Normal. Seatbelt and shoulder harness. Check. Taxi checklist completed.
Okay, taxi checklist is completed. So we're going to put 10 degrees on the pitch up, which is set. And we are now all ready to go. As we see, our rotate is 159, which is right here, and there is our V2 plus 10. So on for the taxi now, guys. We are going to taxi on down, hopefully get a nice smooth taxi out as we rock through. So we're going to come straight down, and we're going to go on to the Alpha taxi, where we're going to follow Alpha all the way down to the Lima Alpha hold, where we're then going to make a right hand turn and come in on for runway 14 right. So we can get the flight controls over. And as we are now all ready to go, we can release
parking brake released.
And we can start to power on up now to runway 14 right. So what we also want to do now is we have got the body gear steering, which is dearmed. And now we'll power on up to the runway. So we're going to intercept for the 152 to the Papa Delta Tango. We've got both VORs which are locked in. They should come to life just after takeoff. As you can see on the VORs, whereabouts we are in relation to the VOR direction. 1022, which is setting on the QNHs as well. And as you can see, we've got 14 right, which we're going to come into, and we are currently just coming down as we get ready to go on to Alpha. Altitude select is armed. So once we get to the Robadillo VOR, that's where we're going to let the INS take control. We'll fly the VOR out manually to intercept the PDD. Got X-Enviro in as well, so we should have some lovely clouds, textures and atmospheric differentials up in the sky. So this is a really nice aircraft. It is something that is and should be appreciated, as it is really good to fly. Definitely old school, and it is worth it, guys. So I would definitely recommend, if you're into the old school sort of stuff, to definitely make sure that you do that. So we've got down, when we come in, we're going to be swinging it into Alpha, as we can see. So here's Alpha 5, and we are pretty much going to take the right hand turn. Now we're going to pretty much go down and follow the Alpha 8 all the way around. So the INSs are all set up now, as we've got waypoint 1, which is in. I wanted to come out deliberately heavy, as I wanted to show you guys the full power of the 747-200. So we're going to taxi on down to 14 right. Okay, so we are at now at the Lima Alpha hold. Where we are now, we're going to make this right hand turn to cross over the hold line, and then we'll get out of it. So let's pass over the Lima Alpha. We'll get all the strobes and everything on once we just line up straight and come around the bend now. Ready to line up for runway 14 right. Okay, so we're going to line up straight from here and put on the runway turn off. Strobes can now go on and checked, and seatbelt signs can now be set as well. So here we are, we're going to put on the
Parking
brakes.
brake set.
Parking brake, which is set now. We can get the PA, which is going to go up just a little bit for us. We're going to get the PA up, there we go, which is set. We put the TARA, which is now on and set and checked, and we'll go to our before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist.
Icing considerations.
Checked.
Check.
Cabin alert.
Check.
Check.
Transponder.
Check.
Ignition.
Flight start.
Body gear steering.
Checked.
Disarm.
Pack valves.
Closed,
This.
which we'll do right now.
Closed. Pressurization mode selector. Auto. Fuel boost pumps.
On.
On. Cross feed valves.
Check.
Check. Before takeoff checklist completed.
Okay, so before takeoff checklist completed, we've got 10 degrees set on flight director pitch. Flight directors are on. We're going to inset at 152 for the PDT, and we're going for 30 up on our speed, departing on 143, and we've got V2 plus 10, which is going to be a 178. So we are all now ready and set to go, guys. So there's only one thing left to do, which is we can release the parking brake.
Released.
I'm going to push forward on the column middle. We're going to go to 1.10 on the EPR.
Stabilized.
Stabilized, and toga.
Thrust set.
Checked. Airspeed live.
80 knots.
Check. Rotate's going to be 159. 100 knots, which is set. He's back on the control column now.
V1. Rotate.
Rotate.
Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up.
So gear is now coming up. Which is checked. Coming out. We've now got the Papa Delta Tango, which is the
Gears up.
11695, which should come in, which is in now. As we're going to get ready, we'll fly the runway head in as we then can intercept onto the 122. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bug up now to 250, which will be set. Just holding in on our pitch as we are going to intercept onto the 152. So I'm going to keep the aircraft stable now as we are onto the 143. Going to engage the autopilot as that's going to track us onto the 143 now.
Gear up.
Gear is up and off, which is checked. We can now start to get the packs all back on one by one, which is set. Passing 3,700 feet, can go into VS mode. Altitude arm is selected, and we can now start to pitch up to around about 2,000 feet per minute. So we are now just currently waiting. We'll lower our pitch just a little so we can start to speed up as we are still near to our V2. So as the aircraft now speeds up, we're just waiting for the needle to come through, and then we're going to go on to the 152. Currently 11 DME from the Papa Delta Tango, where we're then going to basically turn onto the 051 track for the course, which is then going to give us 11.7 DME. We'll then intercept the Robadillo onto the 438. So as we can see on the departure, we are going to intercept at any moment. And just come over just a few degrees just to lock in. As we pass through 5,004, we now can get the QNHs to 1013. Okay, which is SAP. 1013, which is also set and checked. And we can now go up to our flaps 10.
Flaps 10.
Which is checked, so we can go to our after start checklist. So after takeoff checklist, we have the landing lights, which are off, as we did forget to put them on, my bad. Packs are now back on. Passing 10,000 feet, checked pressurization panel, seatbelt signs, etc. can go off as we are nice and sturdy. Ground altitude select flight level 300, there's the 152 which can come in now. 3.5 DME, we are going to then make that left hand turn to incept onto the 051 course. So as we are 5 nautical miles, just going to ease over now as we intercept for the Papa Delta Tango, which will come in, and there's the 152. So for 3.5 DME we're going to go to the 051, just passing 7,000 feet. Pitch mode, we've got everything which is all set, altitude select is in, and now we're going to go to the 051. We'll leave it on for around 061. Okay, 051 which is in, and we'll leave it in for around 061. So we're going to track on for the needle. Just coming through now onto our flaps 5.
Flaps 1.
And then flaps 1 for clean. As we are now just climbing through the 7009 as we slowly start to speed up. So we'll hold it down for around 270, just so we can intercept on full VOR. I haven't put a VOR lock in, as if I did put the VOR lock in, it would just hold the track heading for 152 and take us over. So there it is for 050. Okay, so there's 051, which is in. As we're going to just track over, so 040. That will come back in as we're going to then do 11.7 DME. And then make that left-hand turn onto the 348 and then track out for the VOR into Robadillo. Then we can get the INS all in and set. So seatbelt signs are off, landing lights are off, vertical speed is engaged and checked. Now we come through flaps 1, we can put our climb speed, which is in, which is also set and checked, as we are now just hoping over 250, so we can turn on speed, which is then going to hold us out for our 255. .9 DME, now we can go over to 051, which is checked as the needle's coming back. After that, posting local transition altitude QNH 1013, which is 29902, which is set. We're now tracking outbound from the Papa Delta Tango VOR. Altitude select is engaged. We've got speed in now as we are just climbing 10,000 feet, so everything can go off. Runway turn off, seatbelt signs are off, and we can get our engine flight controls, which can go off.
However, we always recommend to keep your seatbelt fastened while you're seated.
Okay, which is checked.
Flight attendants will be passing around the cabin to offer you
It's 10 DME. So we're going to get ready now to go on to the Robadillo VOR, which is 11395. Okay, there's 11395. 11.7 DME. We are then going to go on to the 348. Okay, 348, which is in. There's 11.7. And there's 348. As we now make that right hand turn, and because we are in, we can go to VO lock for this one, as we will track for 348. Once we get to Robadillo, that's where we're going to then engage the INS mode, and then we're going to roll up to our 300. So we're currently 27 nautical miles from the Robadillo, and you can see now that we have incepted as we come through. 17.8 DME, we need to be 13,000 feet above. So that was the departure, guys, a very nice departure as well. And once you pass the number 1, we'll be then inject it for 1 to 2, so we can put 1 to 2, which will be set. After that, we're now climbing through 11,009. and as we can see we need to be 13,000 above at 17.8. So another 5 nautical miles, 13,000 above, and we are now on board for our Robadillo VOR, just tracking inbound onto the VOR lock. And then we've got number 1 to number 2, so once we just pass over the Robadillo, that is when we will then go up. So we're going to now alter our speed up to 300. We can just dip down on our vertical speed just a little, as we allow the aircraft now to start to climb up. Flaps are fully retracted and everything is all set for the departure now, guys. So I hope you guys did enjoy that. The EPR panel can go to Mac, which we're setting. And as we go through, we'll keep speed on just for now so we can get up to our speed, and then we'll hit Mac, and then it will hold that Mac. EPRL comp will be to cruise once we level off, as we're just passing 13,000, just right near 17.8 DME. So we just cleared 13,000 feet, as we've obviously got terrain, etc. in the vicinity, so we can turn on the weather. Yeah, which will start to come in now if there was anything. I'm sure we can put that to scan as well. So everything is all set now, guys, on the departure front. We're going to be up to 300. We're just going to be holding in on our speed as we've got 300 set in, and then we'll switch that over into Mac mode, and we'll start the climb up. Okay, so as we just hit 300, now go over to Mac. Passing 14,000, and we are now ready to engage the climb out. So as we're going to go up to 14, we put the IS Mac on, as the aircraft's now going to hold that speed, and it will try and pitch us up to its maximum bank. So speed and EPR mode, which will now engage, and we can now start to go up at its maximum rate of climb. Okay, as we are now 9 DME from Robadillo. Can put in the 0 to 1, which let's if we turn on the INS now, the aircraft will now follow straight inbound, and the INS is now engaged. So you can see the nav is on EPR with altitude select for 300, as the aircraft's now climbing up in EPR mode. We're on climb, and once we get to our cruise, we can then switch the EPR over to cruise, and we'll go down to Mac. So that is it now for the departure, guys. As we climb up to flight level 300, I'll leave you with the takeoff cinematics, and then I will see you when we get ready for our top of descent, ready to come in to a lovely Charles de Gaulle airport in lovely Paris. So I'll see you guys in just a sec. to start to come into our top of descent, but what we're going to do is we're going to program the rest of the SIVA, as we've got waypoints 1 to 4 now cleared, or 1 to 5 should we say. So we've got number 9, which is all the way in, and what we're going to do now is we are going to basically clear out the waypoints and replace them. So for number 1 we're going to be going to Nurki, which is north 48308, and it's going to be east 1196. Off waypoint number 2, which is going to be Banox, that's going to be north 48345. And it's going to give us east 1303. Waypoint number 3 from Banox, we only need number 1 and 2, which is in. So now we are going to be moving from Kepa to our top of descent, which is waypoint number 7. So 18 nautical miles, just around 2 minutes away before we start to then go into our top of descent and get the aircraft all programmed to come in. So the arrival that we've got in there's Kepa. We're going to roll down to our top of descent, then go to Rongo. From Rongo, we're going to hit the Foxtrot 501, and then we're going to Banox for flight level 150. Okay, so what we can do is in just a few moments time, when we get near to our top of descent, we can then start to slow the aircraft down and get ready to descend down into our lovely arrival airport. So currently 9 nautical miles, so what I'm going to do now is we've got the altitude armed, which is select, and we're going to go down to 15,000 now. Okay, which is also set and checked. Now we're going to put the vertical speed on. We're going to go down into speed mode, and we can now start to decel the aircraft just slowly down as we start to make that descent. So we're going to start to come around for around about 1,000 feet per minute. Seatbelt signs can now go back on, which are checked, and we can start to get the aircraft ready for arrival.
We are now crossing the zone of turbulence. Please return your seats and keep your seatbelts fastened. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to start to get ready to go out. We'll get the checklist all done as well, as we're going to get that all set. So we can go to our descent checklist, and we can get that all set. Just before our top of descent, I've got my own checklist which we have implemented into the sims, basically from the actual operation manuals, and then basically made a checklist out of it. So for our before descent, we've got calculated the descent going to flight level 150, which is going to take us to Banox, which is our initial approach fix. From there, going down for around 1,000 feet per minute, HSI ground speed be times 5, so 4, 8, 12, 16, around 1,800 feet, but that's coming down for 4,000. So once we come down from there, anti-ice switch is on and checked. We've got our arrival star, which is discussed, which is the Kepa 9 Papa. So we're coming down from Kepa, we're going to hit Romgo, which is max 300 knots, and then we're going to basically take that right hand turn, which is going to take us below 150 to above flight level 140. As we've got it all programmed in. Radios, we've got the INS, which is bringing us down as we're going to come down to the arrival. Once we come down onto the 061 and we hit Banox, that is where we are then going to basically make a slight deviation onto the 045, and then we're going to intercept for the runway, so passing flight level 280, and we'll start to come down for around about 1,500 feet now, which is set. We've got speed, which is in. We can put the go around in as well, as that's going to be coming down on for the approach. And that is pretty much it. So we can now on top of descent. So we are using vertical speed mode. We've got the auto throttle, which is armed and engaged along with our speed. Over on the EPRL mode, we've got go around, which is in. We are now preaching from our top of descent, which is inboard. So we can now start to come down just that little bit more. So 2,000 feet, which is in, throttles will D10 idle as we now pass through 27,000 feet. from 10,000 we will have the landing lights on, we'll decel to 250, we've got speed mode which will be engaged. When reaching the approach altitude we'll then set speed, which is already on the EPR comp. So now we can go into our descent checklist.
Approach checklist, please.
Seatbelt and shoulder harness.
Check.
Seatbelts and no smoking signs.
On.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Check.
Outer brakes.
Medium.
Radio INS switches.
Hold on.
Flight director computer to selectors.
Check.
Check.
Brake pressure.
Check.
Check.
Spoilers.
Spoilers are armed.
Altimeters.
1013. Set and cross check.
Landing data, EPR and airspeed bugs.
Set
Which
and
one
cross
said
check.
check?
Seatbelt and shoulder harness. Check. Fuel panel. Check. Fuel heat. This.
Okay, so we're going to set to 270 now. Throttles are idle as we are slowly now decelling. Fuel heat is to now go off, which we are going to get ready, so fuel heat can go off now.
Off.
Which is checked.
EPR computer.
Go around.
Go around. Cabin altitude.
Okay, so
Check.
let's go and get the QNHs.
Circuit breakers.
They're checked as well.
Check. Approach checklist completed.
Okay, so approach checklist is complete. QNH coming down is 1015, which is set and checked. And 1015 coming down over the QNHs is going to be 299.7. Okay, 299.7, which is set. As we've got the low end one, as the INO throttles are idle now, as we're passing through 22,000 feet. So we're just hitting now Romgo as we're now on our way to Banox. Banox is 13 nautical miles. As now we're going to head down to the Foxtrot. We've got Nurki and then Banox for number 2. So there's Nurki and then there's Banox. As we come down now, we're going to start to slow the aircraft right the way down. So 250. Keep it for 27. Which will be fine for us right now. We are currently 66 nautical miles out. That is the 11535, which is for Charles de Gaulle, 11535. So we are 64 nautical miles. As we're coming now through flight level 200. Coming down to 4,000. We've got 385 on our ground speed as well. So we're going to come down for 15,000 at Banox. And then we're going to start to decel even further. So on for the descent checklist, we've got the auto brakes, which we are going to set to medium. Okay, so there's 210, which is set, and that's going to give us 581. Coming down on the 3-degree glide path, and we've got coming around 166. Coming in for the arrival, we've got 161. So we are going to take medium auto brake, which should bring us down nicely. And we can see now we will be then set. to interlock. So come to 1010. So then we've got enough space to then intercept. Once we get a little bit closer near to the airport, then we can get the aircraft all established and ready to come. Still 43 nautical miles. That's currently at 260. Descending down, we are in speed mode. We've got the go around on the EPRL mode, which is checked. Packs and everything are all set. And we've got the barrow set, the QNH, which is 1015, and we've got 299.7, which is in as well. So everything seems to be doing okay. We'll check the gens. All the gens are fine. So I deliberately made us heavy, so then we can do it in true 747 style. 260 down on our speed. We've got 084 to intercept for the ILS. Got 015 track heading, which we are currently now. The temperature outside is currently 2. so temperature is rising. There is +5, so at 10 we'll turn off the anti-ice now, and we may as well start to get the aircraft all prepared in for the approach. So we're coming in for 166 flaps 30, which on our arrival is 161 to 166 for the VRAM for +5. Winds are 9 knots currently coming down into the airport. Currently 37 nautical miles out. And we can see that we are going to intercept for the Charles de Gaulle VOR. And as soon as the VOR is in, as soon as our localizer comes into play, then we'll switch over to the DME1, which will be the 109.1. We want the 110.10. So there's the localizer, 110.1 and the 115.35, which we've got over on the left-hand side. Once the localizer comes to life over on DME2, then we'll get a DME1 in, and then we can get the ILS in, as even when you switch over the ILS, if I was to switch the ILS over now, it's still going to run in heading mode until these actually intercept and lock over and they arm themselves properly. So don't be afraid if you wanted to activate that early, if you've got the DME and the localizer etc. comes to life. Don't be afraid to put it on ILS mode if this is last fix coming in, or if you're going to intercept onto the VOR. It will always stay into heading mode. So 250 now, 26, as we're coming down through 10,000 feet, we've got 32 nautical miles to go, and we are currently passing 4,000 feet on our altitude, which is set. Landing lights can now come on. Get the runway turn-off lights on, just as we come through. Logos can come on as well.
10,000.
10,000 to go. Landing lights are on and checked. So, as we get ready now on for our approach. Target altitude is set. Speed mode is armed and checked. Landing lights are on. Weather radar 4 to 6 degrees, which is checked and set. So put 4 to 6. Brake pressure is green, which is confirmed. Flight director computer is A for the autopilot pilot. He is off. EPRL is go around, and ignition can be on as well. So we're going to get our ignition switches all ready, which is set and checked. We turn off the start valves, which are all good for us to go. So as we come down now, we'll start the descent a bit more. We're going to slow down to 250, so we go down to 240 now. Throttles are now going to idle back as we slowly now come down to 240, passing through 8,007. 27 nautical miles, and we're just waiting for the localizer to come into play. One for our clean speeds etc. coming in, we've got 1261 and then 241 for flaps 1. So we're coming down for 241, and we want to make sure that we've got the speeds in as well, which are set for the bugs. So there's 241, which is going to be our flaps 1 speed.
Flaps 1.
So flaps 1's now is in N1, there's the throttle in 1, there's the throttles are retarded there. Feet now. We are getting ready. We've got the altitude selecting, we've got the ILS etc. already in. We've got the 1110.10 and we've got the 115.35, which is also set and checked for us, which we are coming in for 16 nautical miles from the VOR, and we're 17.1 from the localizer. Landing lights are on. We'll get the runway turn off so we can leave them on. Seatbelt signs are on and checked. We'll get ready and we'll do our approach checklist once we come down for flaps 20. So this should be the localizer now coming in. And we slow
Localizer
down
alive.
to a flaps 20 now. As our initial fix is 14 nautical miles. So localizer is in and engaged, flaps 20 can come down.
Flaps 10. Flaps 20.
There's a glide slope alive now, starting to slowly make its way down. Once it does come through to the centre, we'll then drop the gear down. As we're slowly just making that decel. Flaps 20's in, aircraft's now lining up with the localizer. And we can get the yoke in as well so you guys can see. Lovely views with X-Enviro today.
Gear down.
Gear can go down now. Okay, there's a glide slope. Now we'll start that descent down into the runway. So we'll go to our
Gears
checklist.
down. Green light.
Okay, so
Landing
we've got the
checklist.
checklist sorted now. Now we get
Gear.
that all read out.
Down and check.
Down and check. Flaps.
Set. 30, which will go in now,
Flaps 30.
which is
Flaps
set.
25.
Flaps 25. Ignition.
Flight start.
Anti-skid.
Check.
Altimeters.
Check,
1015. Set
which
and
are
cross-checked.
cross-checked.
Landing checklist completed.
Okay, so landing check is complete and we are established on the glide slope. We're currently 9.2 DME out from the localizer and we are 8.2 from the Charles de Gaulle VOR. So we should see the runway start to come into sight at any moment. See the radio altimeter, which is just coming under now, which will come under for 2500 AGR. As we are now starting to rock down. Start to see the runway in sight in just a few moments time. Little speed brake which is armed and checked. Going to our approach checklist which has already been done and set. We've got auto throttle mode which is speed for the approach. Speed brake is armed and checked. We've got flaps 30 which is geared down, 3 green. Gear is down and locked. Go around altitude set on the MCP. We're going to go back up to 4,000 feet. And the landing checklist is now complete. So we are looking around, ground speed is going to be around about 160, so we'll be looking on the arrival. Currently around 850 feet, so around about 1,000 feet per minute we are going to come down for. As we just drop through the cloud now. It's passing through 1,500 feet AGL and 2,000 feet on the altimeters. As we get the runway in sight, we can disconnect. Passing through 4.2 DME now. Okay, there's the airport in sight. So I'm going to disengage the autopilot and the auto throttle. I'm going to continue that descent down. So we're holding on around 166, looking around about 1,000 feet per minute as we hold on for the glide slope. So just line up, just some slight corrections. Okay, so we lift up just a little, so we just stay around near to 800. There's the glide slope coming down now. 500 checked. Lifting those up just a little.
Terrain.
seconds, guys, open back.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Continue.
Sync rate.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Check reverse.
Okay, speed brakes are up. And reverses are active. Full pressure on the yoke. Full reverse switch is in and checked as we slowly start to come to a halt. Switch on checked, 60 knots checked, all the throttles can be disarmed and auto brake is off. So as we start to brake now, guys, we can retract the flaps, we can retract our speed brakes, and we can now make our right hand turn over onto the exit out. So as we just come over the whole short line, we'll get the strobes, etc. and everything all turned off. As we now line up, ready to come over the hold line, and I'll get some lovely cinematics for you guys as well today. So we can get the strobe, which is off, landing lights can now come off, leave runway turn off lights on. So we've got some taxi, we can take off the fasten seatbelt signs, and we are all checked now to roll into stand. So I'm going to leave you with the landing cinematics now, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the arrival, and I will see you again for the next wave of flight on the channel, and hopefully we'll be flying the 747-200. So I'll see you guys all very soon. Take care for now. Bye bye.